Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video we're going to be going over a 2022 Mini Cooper JCW edition, and we're going to go over all the things that I like about it, the things that I dislike, and then my overall thoughts on the car. With all that being said, let's get straight into the video. So first off, let's start things off at the front end of the car and go over everything here with the front end. So first off, it is a little bit disappointing that this is fake venting, but I still think it looks very nice from an aesthetic perspective, makes the car look a whole lot more aggressive. Now, from a paint perspective, with this particular color combination, this is something that I absolutely love about the car with the red and with the green. So it's a really dark, kind of like forest type green. It's the best way to put it. You guys can kind of see there off to the side. Definitely gives you those Christmas vibes, but overall, I think it looks great. Now, the next thing I really like is the lights. So they look very similar to Porsche headlights, which is kind of interesting. But aside from that, super bright at night. They have the auto leveling, and yeah, just a really good lighting system that works out really nicely. And yeah, overall, I think it's a good looking car from a front end perspective. Obviously, it has many signature styling, but I think that's solid. Now, let's actually pop the hood. We'll go over the engine earlier in today's video. Usually this is like the last thing we go over, but you know what? We'll do this first. It's got the double pull latch, which is something that I'm a huge fan of because holding a camera, it makes it a whole lot easier to open up the hood. In terms of the engine, I think it's great. Power delivery is great. It's more than enough power for this particular car because it's not really a big car whatsoever. And torque comes on at super low RPMs, and so it works out great. And then something else that I really like is like how the headlights are fixed, and so you have like the holes in the hood. But yeah, I think that whole like setup looks pretty cool. And then also 6-speed manual transmission. That is another huge positive. You can get an 8-speed automatic. I've never driven this with an 8-speed automatic, but I'm sure it drives similar to what you have with the BMWs with the 8-speed, and then, you know, a 2-liter inline 4-cylinder. So, you know, that combination is great, but obviously 6-speed manual is preferred. And also, this is super easy to close. All you have to do is like right here, and then just boom, and it closes every single time. So I guess that's another positive. The one thing that I will say is a slight downside is I feel like we don't have enough tire for this car. So it is front wheel drive, and it is a burnout machine, which is kind of fun. But the thing that I found with this car is its chassis can handle so much, like it's really rigid, but I find myself when I'm like doing some spirited driving running out of tire. It's only got 205mm tires in the front and in the rear. And again, being front wheel drive, you probably want something that's a little bit wider for the front tires, and I'm sure you could fit a little bit more with the car. So yeah, that's the only thing I think is a slight downside, is it just needs a little bit more tire, just a little bit more width so you can get a little bit more grip. And then also more fake venting, you know, whatever. It is what it is. I already mentioned I love the red accent, so we're not going to spend too much time on that. And then another element I love, the taillights that look like the British flag. I think that's so cool. And then the rear diffuser back here is just, it's super aggressive, and it makes this car look so much cooler from an aesthetic perspective. And then the 2 exhaust tips there in the center, I think those look great as well. And then this is a little bit of the downside, but I mean, it's kind of expected. It's a small car, so there's not a ton of storage back here. Now, it is neat that they give you kind of like extra storage underneath there, but again, it's pretty small. There's not a whole lot you could fit back here. Obviously, you could pull that out, and then you could fit bigger bags, but still, you know what? It is what it is. And closing that up, I also love how they blacked out all the badges. I think that looks great. The John Cooper Works badges pop up like the mini badges, how they blacked those out. And then also, I like how they did the black back here, so that makes the red roof look like it's floating. That's cool attention detail. Keyless entry, that's always a huge plus. Notice that you have to press the button either time to lock it or unlock it. And now this is another like slight complaint I will say, is the material used in the door panel isn't great. It's kind of like hard to the touch. It's okay to rest your arm here, but it's not like preferable. I wish they would have done something a little bit softer that was a little bit nicer for your arm. Sound system, huge plus. It's Harman Kardon. Sounds absolutely fantastic. It's interesting that they have don't have the print there, rather. And then if I pull this seat and we kind of pop back here, you guys can see it's right here on the little speaker in the back that says Harman Kardon, but it doesn't say for the front one. Now, as for the back seating area, my head touches the top, so I guess that's a little bit of a negative. About 6 foot tall, so yeah, if you're shorter than me, you'd probably be able to fit back there. Legroom, pretty small. Getting back there is kind of difficult, so you have to pull this, and then you have to do the thing in the front of the seat and pull the seat forward to get back. So I guess that's a little bit annoying, but you know what? Most people are never going to have people back there. Now, another huge positive, these seats, they hold you in place really well, and they're very comfortable, and they look just so cool. Like, look at that. Super sporty looking, absolutely love them. And then popping in, ooh, I love this little accent piece right here. And I love the 3-pedal layout, obviously, because manuals are awesome. But the thing that I love is how there's metallic trim. Even on the dead pedal, it looks great from an aesthetic perspective. So yeah, I think that's a huge plus. And then this is my favorite part, just starting it up. It's so cool every single time with the button. I absolutely love it. And then also the window controls are really nice material-wise, so I think that's cool. And then the door handle, definitely like that. Love the look of the steering wheel, really nice. It's sad that I know it's a manual transmission, but it'd be cool if it had like adaptive cruise control or something like that. I think that would be a huge plus. I love the stitching on the center steering wheel. I love the gauge cluster and how it moves with the steering wheel. I think that is cool attention to detail, and the overall design of it I think is pretty cool. There is a heads-up display, but I turned it off because, well, yeah, for reasons. There's nothing wrong with it. I just didn't want to use it because I just look here. Anyways, another cool thing is when you rev it, notice how this moves with the RPMs. I think that is really cool attention to detail. Overall, the infotainment system works great. I don't want to spend too much time on it. It's just a good infotainment system. I don't particularly like love it over the top. I think it's cool they've integrated it into the retro design. But yeah. Anyways, coming down below here, I love all the toggle switches here at the bottom, especially for the stop, start, and then the drive mode select. Like it's airplane themed. You feel like you're doing something substantial, and you get a cool graphic there when you go into the different drive modes. I know that, well, yeah, I'm just gonna say this. I wish there was nice materials here on the dash. I understand the price point this car is at, and it's very small, and so I feel like they could have done nicer materials because it's like over $40,000 for a tiny little car. You're getting a lot of performance for the money, but then you're not getting like, I don't know, I feel like there should be like nicer material. Like it's kind, you guys can see it's kind of soft-ish touch, like I can press it in, but like, I don't know, I think it should be nicer. Also, again, more airplane controls. I love this, how you have like the dual sunroofs. I think that is pretty cool overall. But yeah, and I mean everything's like relatively nice, especially the touch points. Those are definitely nice. And then obviously we got to talk about the price. This car's over $40,000. It's a tiny front-wheel drive car. I mean, yeah, definitely like not the most practical vehicle, and so you have to really like Mini Coopers to spend the money that this car asks for. But I mean, the fun you get from the driving experience with this 6-speed manual transmission, I definitely think it is worth it. Like, this is one of the best manual transmissions on the market, and this car, like you guys saw from my review with this, it's so fun to drive. It is such a blast. Now let's sum things up with my final thoughts here on the JCW edition. So I think it looks great. It's got that cool retro design from an exterior aesthetics perspective. So yeah, Mini has absolutely nailed it with that. Interior is pretty nice, especially where you sit and then most of the touch points, but obviously some stuff you look at, I feel like they could have, you know, brought that up a little bit interior wise. Driving experience is amazing. With the manual transmission, it's great. And yeah, that engine is so torquey. It's so fun. Like every single time I drive this car, it's an absolute blast. It is one of the most exciting cars that you can buy right now. But obviously it does come at a pretty significant cost. It's over $40,000, which is just slightly more expensive than the average price of a brand new car. But most cars in that price range are, you know, SUVs. There's a few trucks in that price range. Like there's a lot of cars you could buy for over $40,000. So you have to really like the Mini Cooper brand, and that's the thing. Like, you are paying a little bit for the John Cooper Works name, you are paying a little bit for the Mini Cooper name, you're paying a little bit for the retro styling, so you have to understand, like, this is a car that you wear as much as you drive. And so, like, if you just look at it as, like, you know, from pure specs, you go, oh, 200 something horsepower, front wheel drive, manual transmission, small car, $40,000, no, it doesn't make sense. But if you look at it from, like, I'm getting this really cool retro car that has a bunch of heritage behind it, and it's pretty crazy looking, especially in this color combination, and it's something that, again, you wear as much as you drive, then it's definitely worth the money. And so yeah, overall, I think it's a great car. It is expensive, but if you're a Mini enthusiast, it's worth it. And with all that being said, that's gonna sum things up for today's video. If you're stopping for the first time, please subscribe, comment down below what you guys think, and I'll see all of you in the next video.